No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. We were just having a conversation about what it's like to actually go in and do one of these crazy ass, well, I can't call it freestyle because it's obviously prepared, but with Charlie, what's his last name? Sloth. What's it like when you're getting prepared to go in there and spit like 10 minutes of pre-written, recorded shit and you got to nail it?
Yeah, it's the harder part of the job, definitely. Especially with Charlie, because Charlie's like the gatekeeper. So if you're popping and he asks you to go on, it's a big deal in the UK. So when he asked me to go on, I was nervous because I've been seeing this for years. Been seeing people go on there and stuff. But you just gotta remember, you just gotta focus. Like remember I was telling you it was hard because he's pressing perfect and this and that. So you're trying to remember the lyrics.
You got that going off in your ears, so like you're working on the super technical, finely refined thing that you have in your brain, and then meanwhile you got shit exploding in your headphones.
Yeah. And that's when you realize, okay, like this is the life now. You got, you got to adapt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to survive it. Otherwise, you're just gonna. I had the same thing actually with the BBC. That was live, so I did like a live lounge, and they say to you, if you mess it up, It's going out anyway. So there's been live lounges where people have just messed up halfway through and they kind of restarted or whatever because it's live on radio, and then they record it and they're putting it out. So then times like that, you gotta focus on getting it right, but also zone out and just do what you've been practicing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's like a fine balance.
Yeah. So has this always been your focus? Is that you wanted to be like the best rapper, the most technical rapper, the fastest rapper? Was that always the side of hip hop that appealed to you?
Yeah. I guess the side that you can, I feel like raps, you can compare it to a sport. It's very comparable. Like there's other types of music where it's not so easy to do, but with rap, I think it's very measurable. When people say, it's subjective, I'm thinking, yeah, but you can't tell me Eminem's not sick. Do you know what I mean?
At the end of the day, Eminem gotta get the most props because he's like on the surface level, technical skill, he appears to be the most talented, so that's always gonna kind of reserve him a certain spot in the culture.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And I just feel like for me, that was the thing I could always guarantee. Like having, I don't know, like an image or a gimmick or whatever, I never had any guarantee that was going to work for me, but I always thought skill, being able to impress someone is timeless, do you know what I mean? So I thought if I can just get that side of it, okay. I always compare it to like if a professional footballer was or a soccer player was walking in a park and they saw a little kid doing tricks that their teammates couldn't do. It's irrelevant that who it is or where it is, they'd recognize it straight away.
Right.
So it was kind of that whole same thing. It was like trying to negate coming from the UK necessarily and trying to appeal to the whole world and just be like, look, like this isn't really something that's really local. This is I want it to be a worldwide thing.
Right.
And a lot of gimmicks and stuff attached to UK artists is very sort of local. So it's going to appeal to people in London and
like a lot of the shit talk and beef and stuff
like that. Yeah,
it's not going to go that far beyond your own neighborhood.
Yeah. Whereas skill is sort of worldwide, isn't it? So right. And also with the flows, when you rap fast, I feel like you don't need to necessarily always understand what's being said. I never just do I never say anything that doesn't mean anything.
Right, because there's kind of like a line that you can cross there where you're just saying, it's like, and to the audience, they're not really comprehending what you're saying, so you could sort of get away with that, and that kind of seems like cheating in a way. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, but the rappers know, like the people that know. So I feel like you've got an obligation to always be saying something, but if you can say something for the people that are listening to the lyrics, but also impress the people that can't understand the lyrics just with the flows, I think that's a nice balance. Because sometimes I go to France or I go to Bulgaria and I know they can't understand what I'm saying.
Right.
Or everything. But it's the percussion of it. It becomes about the percussion of it. And they're listening to the percussion of it and they're waiting for the drop and they're hearing the percussion of the syllables and they're thinking, if he maintains this pattern,
right,
it's going to be sick over the drop. You don't need to understand it necessarily.
Definitely. So you started out doing the beatbox thing back in Camden. That's where you're from. So
yeah,
how did you get into that? I did that quite a bit when I was like 13. I had about 6 months where I was beatboxing a lot. I don't know if I've ever admitted that on camera before. Yeah.
I feel like everyone's gone through a little phase, right?
It's fun.
You know
what I mean? I still do it honestly, like time to time. I'll just be doing it by myself.
Yeah. Same way when I was a kid, I started realizing like, okay, each year I'm getting stronger. I also was like, right, I can make beats with, like, you can just make beats without having a computer or anything. And then you start with, you start chilling with people, and one of you's got to do it because the rest of you are trying to rap.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was into a couple beatboxers that used to try and like sing and or get a melody and do the beat at the same time. It always used to blow my mind.
Oh yeah. The old Razel freestyles. I remember downloading off Napster and shit. If your mama only knew.
Yeah. I got that off LimeWire. Do you remember LimeWire?
Yeah, there's a lot of other like beatbox type dudes who did songs like that over the years.
Yeah.
Ooh, I gotta check those out. That's interesting.
Yeah, in fact, I just watched the beatbox championships. I didn't know it. I just did a bit of research on beatbox recently. They do there's proper championships now.
Really?
And the levels are just different.
Oh, that's crazy. I gotta check that out.
Yeah. You realize like Razel was just like he just kind of like opened the door. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Almost like with rap as well. Like you see how it kind of progresses. The levels progress over time. I feel like you can see that with beatboxing as well.
Definitely. So was it just kind of the thing that you just sort of learned to do it? It was just a way of you sort of having some value to the crew of everybody hanging out, and then over time you just sort of realized that the rapping thing was more your style?
Yeah, I've always been into percussion. You know, remember I was saying about the syllables and when the drops coming in, is it going to match?
Yeah.
So I was always just into that. And I'll make just snare noises and I'll just do that, and I'll just try and make like intricate little patterns. I was always into it. And then I just discovered rap because I've been listening to people like in the US I've been listening to like Twista and Busta and Eminem and Tech Nine and people like that. And everyone, I remember there was this the tune Be Warned by Tech Nine. It's really old, and I remember listening to it, and everyone, I think the kind of tag next to it was like, this is the fastest song ever, or this is the most intricate lyrical something. So I'm listening to it. And I was thinking, I could do my own version of this. I could definitely do my own version of this. I could change everything, but make it a similar vibe. So I sat there and I tried to do it. It didn't really work. So I thought, let me slow it down. So then I done a remix of When It Rains, It Pours, 50 Cent. With a strong American accent. That's what we do over it. Like when you start over here, that's what everyone does, isn't it? Like everyone does that. First one or two songs when you're 14, 15, you'll put an American accent, try and sound like your favourite American artist. Then you'll be like, okay, I gotta find my own.
That's interesting though, because I feel like a lot of the UK rap that seems to get really pops off is the stuff that is more nuanced, like that people around here are the only ones who are gonna really understand it, and they love it for that because it's like a coded language.
Well, because that's just like, it's like the birth of that UK sound. It's kind of, I mean, it's been a slow burner, but it's kind of here now, so people are just loving it. But for me, I've always been influenced by both sides. So, I had a tune come out with Method Man.
Crazy.
That was like, when I was writing that song, I was thinking, cool, well, we need to find the middle ground because we're from different sides of the planet, really.
Yeah.
Or different sides of the pond, at least. We've had different experiences, we've got different accents, but there is like a mutual ground there. And I think we found it.
Honestly, that really stood out to me when I first saw the song with Method Man. I was like, "What the fuck is this gonna sound like?" And I clicked on it, and actually, it worked. And you had a dope video together and everything. That was pretty sick.
Yeah, that was so surreal for me. Imagine I was walking down the road. I was moaning for about 6 months. I was saying to my manager, I was like, "We need to get Method Man on the project. I really want to get Method Man on the project. I've always been a big fan of his, and we'd done a couple of shows together, but we just couldn't get through to his people." And then long story short, from out of nowhere, I got a call from a producer that had a Method Man verse, and he wanted a verse from me, and he was going to pay me a load of money for it. And I said, forget about the money, just give me his manager's contact details, and I'll just do it for free. And so that's how I got in touch with him. And then he was like, oh yeah, like from the show, and that's how we linked up. But I was moaning about not being able to get hold of him for like 6 months, and then I was walking down the street, I just decided it's not going to happen. And I just got a call from out of nowhere. Same with Dizzee Rascal as well, actually. Like we were trying to get hold of him, and then he just heard me in the gym, and we linked up on Twitter.
Really? He reached out to you?
Yeah, I think what happened was I was in the car, and he followed me back on Twitter, and when someone follows you back, it comes down.
Very exciting moment, especially when somebody you really look up to.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying in interviews for years before I'd done a tune with him. Everyone said, "Who would you work with, dead or alive?" I'd say Dizzee. That was who I wanted. That he inspired me as an artist. So when I see he followed me back, I nearly crashed. I was on the motor. I nearly crashed. I was just looking for too long. Look up, nearly crashed. Pulled over to the side of the road. Messaged him back. I was like, bro, this is mad. Like, big respect for following me. He was like, bro, you're sick. I'm in the gym. We need to link up. Come to the studio. And then when I met him, I was like, bro, you didn't hear the tunes. We've been sending you tunes for a minute. He was like, nah, my team didn't send it on. So now, because we know each other well now, every time I see his team, I give him a little bit of banter about that, because they nearly messed it up for me.
It's funny though, because that's how it is once you get famous like that you have a team to sort of like, you know, go through the stuff that you're being sent, but then at the same time you know that the team is maybe not as in tune with what's dope musically. It's like that all the time where I hear about somebody trying to get in touch for an interview and like they don't get past like my assistant or whatever, and I'm just like, God damn, I could have had that shit like 3 months earlier.
Yeah. It's annoying. Because then also you don't want them to just like, you don't want to get too much stuff, so they got to do it to some people. So I get it, and you know, I'm sure I've done it as well without even realizing, because I'm sure my team have been like, I'm not going to bring that to him.
Did you actually get in the studio with Dizzee?
Yeah.
To make that song? How was that experience? Because he's ridiculous as a rapper as well. Yeah.
Well, it was interesting seeing the way he works, because we've got similar ways of recording but slightly different. So that was interesting. I was very nervous. It was nice to feel nervous, because like once you get over performing, and once you get over people just judging you, and that's what your job is, you don't really get that same nerves that people assume you would get. And then walking into the studio with him, I was genuinely nervous. Do you know what I mean? And it made me write something I think a lot better than I would have, because I had just the pressure on me.
Yeah.
It took me back to like when I was writing in my room and I wanted to impress the man them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that was literally the way it took me back to it. It was like, okay, cool, like I'm not gonna flop this one. Whereas up until that point, I'd almost got into like a nice routine. Yeah. And it was just kind of like the tracks were flowing out, and then I had the studio session with him. I was like, okay, pressure's on. And then he was standing there whilst I was recording, and I was just trying too hard. And I think he could tell I was just trying too hard, so he just left the room. And then let me record on my own, which I was quite relieved about. And I recorded it straight away. And then from there it was just a wrap. We've worked together since. We've done music videos since. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was a real surreal moment actually. Yeah, real surreal moment, because I'd spent a big part of my life just being a big fan. Yeah. And you don't want to meet someone that you're a fan of and then it be a letdown. But when it's the opposite, when it's almost like, right, that's better than I even thought it was gonna go. Right. It's just a great thing.
To be honest, I got to interview him tomorrow, and I'm not the one who put together the schedule at first. Like they came to me, they're like, "This is a list of artists that we think you might be able to get interviews from." I'm like, Dizzee Rascal, what the fuck? I'm like, because to be honest, he's definitely the first UK rapper I ever heard. Because I used to always be watching these BMX videos, and I think it was back in like 2004 that there was this really influential video called Voices that came out of Sheffield, and there was a fucking Dizzee Rascal song, and it was like the first time I'd ever heard anything that even sort of sounded like grime, whatever. Like I just I couldn't understand a word of it. I actually still to this day I went back and I was reading through the lyrics to that song yesterday, being like, fuck, that's what I was listening to all those years. I mean, there's a certain point where when you're like the first artist to really break through for an entire country, an entire region, I mean that's kind of like he accomplished something that nobody will ever be able to accomplish in terms of just being the first one to really make a big impact from that place.
Exactly, yeah. And I think every rapper right now in the UK that's earning money off this is a big part of that is because of Dizzee. Do you know what I mean?
Even if they're a little too young to really know that that's who they owe a lot of the
some of them, a lot of them won't even realize.
Right.
They'll know. Obviously, everyone knows who Dizzee is, but a lot of them might not realize because. I mean, I remember there was a time in my life where seeing a rapper, I saw Dizzee in a magazine talking about the song "I Love You" when it came out. This is ages ago. And I remember reading it like, what? There's a rapper in a magazine, like, what's going on? This is crazy. And everyone was saying that. Everyone was saying, yo, this is crazy. Like, he's got a thing in a magazine. Now everyone's doing stuff with magazine. It's not, the times have changed, but there was a time where there was no foot in the door.
The extent to which, when I was looking at the GQ YouTube channel the other day, and they're doing like videos with black youngsters and shit. I'm like, when did GQ decide that rap was this cool that they wanted to, you know? And it's great to honestly see it happening, but at the same time, it's like you got to realize what it is. It's them realizing that they can't just put these fucking male models on the cover and get by on that. They got to actually reach out to a guy who, you know, was charged with a fucking crazy shooting a couple of years ago or some shit like that. Like they have actually realized that they have to fuck with hip hop to keep up. Which is good, but it's like, I mean, a lot of these things just did not exist a couple of years ago.
No, for real. And the jewelry one as well.
They do that with everybody now.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me on with this thing though.
No?
I mean, nah, it's
That's
not,
not
quite,
gonna cut it?
not bust down enough. Nah. And I need about 6 of them as well. Give me a little bit of time though.
You make up some bullshit stories. I bet a lot of the people doing that shit are renting it or borrowing it or something.
Yeah, man, definitely.
So
not Gucci Mane though.
No, not Gucci Mane. No. He's rich for real. Yeah. So was this song? You had a song in 2014 that got 8 million views. Mm-hmm. Was that like your breakout song, or when did you first start to go from just being a kid on the block to actually really getting recognition for your craft?
Yeah, I mean, I was sitting on that song for a little while. I didn't. When you've never released music before, there's this weird apprehension that like maybe you're just deluded and you're rubbish and you're not good.
Yeah.
And it kind of, I feel like it holds back a lot of up and coming MCs or whatever, because they just don't want to be seen to fail. Because it's quite, especially if you haven't achieved anything yet, to be seen to fail off the bat is just detrimental to your whole character. Yeah. So a lot of people, and you see, as rappers, we all have big egos, and we never want to look like we fail. We want to look like everything we touch turns to gold, even before we're known or anything.
It's like becoming a boxer and having that undefeated record.
Exactly.
Once you lose one and it becomes a reality that it can happen, it's like you really want to avoid that.
And the worst thing you could do is lose your first fight. Do you know what I mean? So, as an artist, I feel like a lot of people just wait, and then all of a sudden they're like 26 and they never dropped a song, or they haven't got an album out and stuff like that. And I remember I was talking to my dad. My dad was just like, "What are you doing, man? You spend so much time practicing. I know you spend so much time practicing. You spent 5 years practicing your craft, working on your craft. Now's the time. Like, I trust you're good enough." And I thought, yeah, do you know what? Like, I've put in the work. I'm ready. So in 2014, I dropped it, and I just never looked back from there. Really, I just since then it's just been progression and just kind of working out how to do.
Was it an immediate reaction where people were just excited and reacting?
Proportionally. I mean, like now, I guess now if I dropped a song today and it did as well as that song did in the first week, I'd be a bit like worried because it didn't do like proportionally as well as something would do right now.
But being that you were coming from nothing,
yeah, I think it got like 30,000 views. I think at first it got 5,000 views pretty quick, and then 30,000 views, and that was a big deal where I was coming from. And then when it got 100,000 views, I was like, okay. And then I got a booking when it got 100,000 views. I got paid £300. I had to drive 11 hours. Got paid £300. I got there, and the guy tried to give me £250.
Oh my god, of course.
So I had to stick it on him. Big up Will, you know who you are. I still cool with him, innit? Because he apologised after, so we still chat. But yeah, he tried it. So then you're like, okay, cool. Like that's my first taste. That's kind of my first like show. Right? It's my first taste of earning money off this rap stuff. And then I think it was just 500,000. It got to 500,000 really quickly after that. And everyone in the area was like saying, "Oh, that song's big now," like because no one was really getting 500,000 views at the time.
Yeah, definitely.
In my circle, and then yeah, from when it hit 1 million, I just signed a deal with this label, High Focus, and basically at first like they didn't want to sign me. I had this video. I was like, "Do you want to put this video out?" And they were like, "Well, you're not signed to the label, so it'd be a bit random and weird." So I just put it out myself, and then after that, got signed, released my first album, toured that for like a year, dropped my second one, toured that for about a year, and now we're about to drop the third one. Right. So still relatively early in the game, so I'm still learning everything, just piecing stuff together, and I've just set up my own label as well. So yeah,
I was reading about that. You did it's called Beyond Measure. It's like a partnership.
Partnership
with Warner.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's exciting.
What's that all about? Is that like you planning on being able to find new artists? Do you have artists in mind that you're going to try to put out through this, or? Yeah.
So what I want to do is release some projects. I've got a mixtape coming out now. Then, like I've got something else planned right after that, and then after that I'll be signing artists. Because basically what I want to do is like it's my first project, so I don't want to go through learning curve at the expense of any other artist. I'd rather do it. We've already built something quite good, so I feel like we can go across the learning curve without it being too detrimental. Whereas I don't want to sign like a new act and try and build them up and then have to go through learning curves with this new act. I'd rather like do that with at the expense of my project. And then by the time we come to signing acts at the start of next year, we're probably gonna have had a few projects of experience, and we're gonna know exactly where we want to go with stuff and who we want to sign. But we're looking at acts already. We've had meetings and stuff, but I don't want to rush into it because I'm taking that side of it very seriously.
It's a tricky thing to want to like balance promoting yourself and then promoting other rappers as well. Like traditionally throughout rap's history, like we've seen so many fucking rappers fail at this. Even like the biggest rappers. You think like Jay-Z was the biggest rapper, and in his prime, he tried to make Memphis Bleak hot. He tried to make Beanie Siegel hot. Nothing ever panned out to even be like 5% of as big as he was. You know?
Yeah. I think with that, it's always important to be very selective with who you're getting involved in. I think I really trust my my radar for what's good and what's not. I really trust it, and I'm willing to invest my money and stake my money on that. So if I believe in someone, I'm going for it. But it's not easy to get me to fully want to. So if I'm saying I want to sign them, it's just because I'm almost. A good example is Rag and Bone Man. He's one of the I think his debut project was the most successful ever debut project for a male artist in the UK, something like this, right? And I knew him for about 6 years before that, 7 years before that. And I was just sitting there thinking, how is this guy not one of the biggest artists? I don't understand it. It used to always confuse me because I'd just be like, clearly he's levels, And then when he blew up, it was just like, finally. Do you know what I mean? So if I had my label then, and I was at the age I'm at now, with the experience I'm at now, I would have, if there was another person like him and I'm just like, well, I know you're sick, I can see it, then that's the sort of person that I want to get involved with, where it's just the talent is just so out there. And I wouldn't mind finding someone with a similar vibe to me, musically. Yeah. Because then it's...
That your fans are going to be receptive to and shit is kind of the main challenge.
Yeah, so that would be a good one, I guess, at first, but I don't want to just limit it to rap, to be honest. I just want to have a bunch of really talented artists eventually. Yeah. And I want to try and create this kind of community, this family. I want everyone to, if one person does well, we all do well. I don't want there to be this rivalry. I feel like too often there's rivalries in the rap scene, especially when you're doing labels and stuff and amongst label people. But I think that if there was like a invested interest for everyone, it wouldn't be a problem. But there isn't usually. Usually it's like, oh, he's doing better than me, it's gonna hurt my pocket. Yeah. Rather than he's doing better than me, that's gonna help my pocket.
You see a lot of that. Is that kind of the attitude out here? Like from my perspective, I feel like I see a lot of UK rappers really supporting each other and stuff. When I'm clicking on different people to watch their videos, I'm always surprised to see that lots of different people seem like they're working with lots of different people. But then again, that's also people who have made it to a certain level of certain name recognition. So I mean, you're a little bit more tapped into what's going on in the the smaller names and stuff.
I think it's very, very cliquey. There's like a what I've noticed is more of the OGs and people that have made money in the game and know what they're doing. They're more likely to work with people just based on talent. Right. People that's kind of new and excited because they've got a bit of money and a bit of recognition.
Like when Dizzee sees you, he's like able to just look at the talent and he doesn't see you as competition necessarily because he already had his big time or whatever as a big star and everything, and now he's able to just look at it more like, this guy's dope, I want to work with him. Easy as that.
Yeah, I think it's a luxury that you get from years and years of success. I think because I think when people are new, they're worried about not looking cool, they're worried about someone being able to drag them down because they're not high enough to be able to just rule out the idea of someone dragging them back down to where they were. They haven't been out of it long enough. When you're really removed from it, you just have a love for the music, I think. But yeah, it's very cliquey. I think if you're in that group, then the perception is that it's all very like, yeah, let's raise each other up. And there is a definite. I get along with all the artists that I've met. There's no like real animosity or anything between artists. Like they all want to see each other do well, but it's definitely like sectioned off into little groups and stuff. Like you can see it. There's little, I guess, like subgenres and stuff. Yeah. And those guys all kind of hang out with each other.
Definitely. Yeah. What's it like in Brighton? When made you move out there? Because I've spent a bunch of time there, so I find it kind of interesting that you choose to post up there.
Yeah, like I guess my mum just moved me down to Brighton when I like.
Oh, so it was just since you were young.
It was just so my family are in London, but like my mum just wanted to move me down to Brighton and just bring me away from certain things and stuff like that. I guess I don't know, like, and I'm grateful for it because it kind of gave me a slightly different angle on things and a different perception on things. And it's quite a chill place, I think. Like now I see it more as like in holiday season, I want to go down there and like chill on the beach and relax and stuff. And like when I'm in work mode, it's like cool. I want to be in London and just working, being around people. Everyone's working and everyone's on stuff. But when the sun's out, I do get tempted to just go down there and chill. It's a nice place.
I went to Brighton, and within 24 hours of getting there, this is about 4 or 5 years ago, I was still doing the BMX thing. We took Molly, go to the bar, MD as you guys call it, and then we go to the bar, and we leave the first bar and we're going to the second bar, and we stopped on the corner. We had like 3 girls with us, and they're on mini skirts, and this fucking kid walks up to us and is just basically like says something super rude to the girl. He says something about like, how would your mom feel if she knew you were out dressed like that? And my friend says, shut the fuck up or I'm gonna knock your teeth out. And so all of a sudden we got like 30 fucking teenage kids fucking punching us and chasing us down the street and shit, and they basically just attacked us until we like accidentally ran into some cops. And then, like, a cop car pulled up, and then the kids were gone like that. They didn't get one of them.
How long ago was that?
It was about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It was like this BMX video that they were, like, filming out there that I'll send you a link to that you'd be like, wow, I can't believe all this shit went down in Brighton. It's crazy.
It's weird, man. Like,
the kids are
two
fucked.
sides. There's two
kids
sides.
are wild.
Yeah, there's two sides. There's a lot of drugs as well.
Yeah, these kids look like they were on drugs, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Kid looked like he was on heroin, bro.
Some of these guys, they're running around acting crazy, but that's just part. I guess that's part of the culture of the city. Do you know what I mean? You got like the brioche bun, chili jam, vegan side, and then there's like a hip hop scene, and then there's like a drug scene, and then there's the kind of you got the road scene, and then you got Hove, which is nice, and you just got loads. It's a little. It reminds me of Camden, weirdly enough. See, I was born in Camden, and it reminds me of Camden, but just like a little southern Camden, because it's just like a melting pot of just millions of different personas, and it's one of them places where like you just walk down the road and you just see all sorts of like crazy looking people.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely a place that if you spend enough time there, you become sort of able to appreciate different cultures and stuff. But yeah, I'm happy to be up back working in London. I feel like I'm getting a lot done.
Oh, so you've been staying out here more recently?
Yeah, I live in London.
Is London where it's at in terms of like if you want to be a creative in England? Is it really kind of useless to try to get by anywhere else?
To be honest, in the hip hop scene, people from up north are doing really well at the moment. So I don't think necessarily you have to be from.
But don't you
London.
think they just gravitate down here as soon as possible?
Oh, what you mean once
they get going, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had that. I definitely had that. I wanted to get that because do you know what it is? It's just like networking and events and stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on in London.
Yeah.
So if you're not here, you're missing out on certain things. So yeah, I would agree. Yeah. I think it's important to be down here, but there's definitely a lot of stuff going on elsewhere. I think you can make noise elsewhere. It's almost like once you've made the noise, it's like, all right, come into the office and let's get this done. And the office is in London.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You often find a lot of these guys from elsewhere. They're in London a lot.
So what's your lifestyle like these days? Are you just working on your music stuff or your career stuff all the time, or what's a day in the life?
Yeah, I'm a day in the life. So like, I didn't want to just smoke my days away and just come in and just do rap all the time and just become just sort of that character.
You gotta live in between, right?
Yeah, so I try and just stay healthy. So I do it. That's why I start my day. I get up and I train, and then I'll do a bit of writing. I'll talk with my team about how, because at the moment we're piecing together this project. So that's my days are filled with just discussing stuff like that.
Right.
Even just down to artworks and things like that. What we're gonna do for the artworks. Just discussing tactics and things like that. So that takes up a portion of the day. But yeah, I usually start with training and then I'll have like a couple meetings. I'll do some writing. To be honest, when you're in album mode, socializing is not really on the agenda. Do you know what I mean? So I try and avoid that.
You kind of wall yourself off and just try to focus on yourself.
Yeah, because I'm the sort of person I might be in writing mode for a full day, but within that whole day, there's plenty of hours where I'm not in the mood for writing. So I'll just be kind of floating around, waiting to feel. Sometimes I'll just be watching something on TV, and I know it's a writing day, and something will click, and I'll be like, oh, hang on, I'll just pause that, switch it over to the Bluetooth, and I'll start writing for an hour, and then I'll stop because I'll get bored. and I'll do something else. But lurking around in the house is important for that. Otherwise, you might be out doing something and you might have that moment, but you're out doing something, so you can't get it down.
Yeah.
So that I'll do that quite a lot. But yeah, I try not to party like too much.
Versus your younger days, or?
Yeah. I just can't really hack it. Like I'm just not like one of them people with a big tolerance to it. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like everybody I've been interviewing has been coming in and acting like they don't party, but then in reality, most of the Englishmen I know, they party.
No, that's why I don't party though. It's because every time I do, I mean, like, I don't party at all, because when I do, I go in. So I just try and avoid it. So like on my birthday this year, like we went in and I was just like, oh man, like this is why I don't do this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was like a one-time thing. Like that was the first time I've been feeling proper waved in a couple years. Like I really don't get on it like that.
But
I'll have a little one or two.
If somebody like offers me some fucking coke or something, it's just like I'm looking at that like that's the next 24 hours of my life, because not only am I going to be up for like at least 10 hours fucking with that shit, then also I'm going to have to recover, and that could take a whole day.
No, I can't
really
handle
just not worth
I can't handle that, man. I can't handle that, man. Yeah, I'm just about smoking a little bit on my herb and that's it. Do you know what I mean? That's all I really do. To be honest though, above all of those drugs, yeah, I'm not fucking with tobacco. That's my thing. I'm not fucking with it. It
really?
It messes with my voice, man.
God, I feel the opposite way. I feel like I'm not even gonna smoke blunts anymore when I get home. I think I'm gonna be on the spliffs for life.
What? Because coming to the UK?
I mean, people smoke them back home and shit too, but just after having only smoked that for a couple weeks, it's like, fuck, like why am I bothering with this fucking big ugly brown wrap? Like that thing is just toxic.
Yeah, no. See, I just do Rizla.
Yeah.
Just put in a Rizla, but no tobacco. That. Do you know what it was? All my people just started. They stopped smoking tobacco years ago, and I was one of the last ones. Just when I was in a spliff or whatever, and then every time I go around there, they'd just be laughing at me.
Really?
Just be like, "Oh, you're still smoking tobacco, yeah?" No.
Peer
I just got
pressure.
tired of it. Yeah, peer pressure. I got tired of it, and the rap money started coming in. And I was like, "Do you know what?" I said goodbye to it. I haven't looked back since. But now these man can't even smoke on the tour bus. I'm like, nah, stay, keep that out of the. I don't want to smoke no tobacco, man. I can't handle it. Like,
Yeah.
I'll wake up in the morning on the tour and I'll be like, I won't be able to talk. It's
really?
weird. Like I said, man, I'm not built for this. That's why I try and stay healthy. And I stick to like once a year. I might get on it or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Travis Barker told me that he smoked like an insane amount of blunts every day for 10, 20 years, and then one day that he went to the doctor and they told him that if he kept doing it for like another year, he said he had pre-cancer of the throat from smoking blunts, and he hasn't done it since. And he told me that. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm like, I'm gonna fucking have a conversation like that sooner or later, huh?
Yeah. I think, did you say 20 blunts?
He was smoking, he said at least 20 blunts a day, which I mean, having that much money, I could totally see it. I know people that smoke insane amounts of weed like that too.
Personally, I couldn't smoke more than maybe like one, because I don't smoke in the day.
Yeah.
So if it like daytime, I don't smoke unless it's a random occasion or whatever. Like I don't smoke. So what happens is I get to like 10 o'clock and I'm thinking, nah, do you know what? I haven't smoked all day, and I might have a little one.
Yeah.
And by that time, if you haven't been smoking for all day, by that time when you smoke, like, well, you might smoke one, you're finished. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe two if you're.
Whenever I'm traveling and I start smoking, like I wake up, roll a blunt at noon. It's just, I don't know, man. It just doesn't really like. It makes me want to take a nap an hour later. It makes me. I don't want to fucking work. It's just not really.
Start coming up with it. So I start coming up with excuses why I don't need to eat healthy. I could just order this.
Yeah, exactly.
This quick thing.
All your fucking self-control.
Start telling myself it's important to rest and recover and recuperate and enjoy yourself and order this Chinese.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, damn, my muscles need to recover. I better eat something really bad for me.
Yeah, trust me. That's what that does. So I avoid that. And just try. Do you know, reason why I don't do all the partying though is because my work rate. When I'll write like 10 songs a week. Do you know what I mean? I'm always doing it, so I take that really seriously. I can party later. Do you know what I mean?
So you'll just write that many songs, and then you'll just, whenever you do hit the studio, you're basically just working on recording the stuff that you already kind of have prepared.
Yeah. I'll go to the studio and record like 10 songs in a day or so. The most I've done is 12, but that was a bit of a stress. Usually I'll do 5 or 6. So, and this is all dependent on if I've got instrumentals. So if people send me instrumentals and I'm not feeling them, because I've got a big team of producers now send me instrumentals. So sometimes I'll get sent like a pack of 100 and I'll just be like, oh my God, there's too much to go through. I'll just sit there, go through it, select the ones I like. If there's some ones that inspire me, I'll be there non-stop until every single beat has got something I'm happy with. So in those times, it'll just be constant. Then I'll go through a little phase where no one will send me any beats that I like. So that'll be a little kind of, I guess, like, it'll be a bit of white noise or whatever you want to call it, like nothing's going on. And then someone will send me a banger and it'll kind of, it's just weird how it works, it will trigger it again. But if I party, my music becomes sort of, I just get in my own head and I just don't like, I don't know, man. Partying just not good for my mental health, I don't think. Like, for me, I'm quite in control and just on point with stuff as long as I'm healthy and just, like, do you know what I mean? Take life serious. As soon as I start partying and stuff, I just start wanting to write about other things.
You smoking with Redman?
Yeah.
Got it. And that's
that was crazy. Yeah, I walked into their backstage. And they were there. They were smoking these massive blunts. And Method Man couldn't talk because his throat was all messed up. So he was kind of like hand signaling me. And just like being like, yo, what's up, doing all that. But Redman was fine. So we was just there chatting and smoking for a bit. That was surreal though, because when legends, like, them man were proper complimentary. Yeah. So when they're being complimentary, it's just thinking, wow, how have you even like clocked onto me like that? He was just standing watching the show on the side, so he saw, before his show, he saw my show, and he was like, your show is sick. Yeah. You need to carry it on, like, we can work together and stuff like that. So we swapped numbers and stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
So you're in FIFA?
Yeah.
What's that feel like?
I don't know, I had a lyric on my mixtape about all the people that I've had problems with in the past having to put FIFA on mute now when they play it because they hear my voice. It reminds me of darker times.
That's fucking hilarious. You know what I'm saying? But that's the best thing you could accept or expect from your success, is just to piss off a lot of people that are gonna have to deal with your existence. Yeah. So that was probably the thing I was most happy about. I was like, I know you man are all gonna be playing this with the sound off. So that was cool. It was that was a moment for me. Because I think when you start trying to work out how many people are going to be listening to your song when you're on FIFA, it starts getting a little bit mad. Like, numbers, it would be otherwise fairly unachievable, even at a top level. Because the amount of people that buy that game is silly, and then they're playing it all year, and you think the amount of repeat plays, it's just like, it's quite overwhelming. So that was dope. And it was nice as well, because the producer of it's a big fan of FIFA, Leaf Dog, shouts Leaf Dog. But he's a big fan of the game. And I knew that before anyway, so that was nice. And yeah, that was something that grandma can understand. Even grandma knows about FIFA. So now she's like, oh, you are actually doing well. Yeah. Because my grandma, I think she sometimes thinks like, wow, like, my grandson's just, I don't know what he's doing. yeah, because you could have a song that has 20 million views on YouTube, whatever, like, you're feeling like you just killed it, and it's like very hard to put that in terms that your grandparents are going to understand.
I just suddenly thought of this P Money lyric. Grandma thinks Grandma thinks that I can't do wrong. She don't know I'm a serious don. That's his new, he just dropped a tape. Shouts out P Money and his new tape. But when I heard that lyric, I was cracking up because I can relate to it. In fact, at the start of the song, he does a phone call. He's like, yeah, you know when you're on the phone to your grandma and you're like, yeah, gran, everything's cool, just doing my music. And you put down the phone, talk about smacking someone up to your brethren. It's like, that's kind of the thing. So when you do something like FIFA, it's like, no, grandma, I'm serious. Like, I'm an artist. Like, I'm actually doing stuff. Little adverts here and there. So yeah, they're the little grandma brownie points who I quite like. You know, definitely. It's a bit of fun, isn't it?
Impressing your grandma, that's like the main thing. If you could figure out a way to accomplish that through rap, then you did it.
Exactly. She needs to stop calling me a singer though. She needs to stop calling me a singer, man.
A lot of the rappers that I interview though, it's like they're like 18 and then you realize that their grandma is like 45. Yeah, you're like, Jesus.
My grandma's like 70 something.
Yeah, me too. My grandparents, if they're still alive, would be like 100.
I hear that, man.
So, this new project that you're working on right now, are you far enough along to have a name for it and everything?
Yeah, the project's called Big Talk.
Okay.
And it's basically like what I wanted to do, because I'm 2 albums deep now. My first thing I dropped was an album. It was like a body of work. It had like peaks and troughs and a sort of real sort of soundscape when you're listening to it. Then the second one I done it was different, but I had the same concept. I'm doing a studio album. So for this third one, I'm self-releasing it. It's a mixtape. It's more just like, personally, when I make an album, I first 4, 5, 6 songs, all the singles will be in there, and then the rest will be like me telling the album story. With this project, I've just basically wanted to have fun with it. I wanted to do a sick live tour. I wanted there to be lots of bass stuff people could play in their car. So I didn't try and do the whole deep conceptual album thing. I just tried to put loads and loads and loads of bangers on there. Just stuff that's it's gonna make people, give people energy, jump around, whatever it is. When I'm playing the live shows, just the bass is gonna just shake the floor. That's the vibe I've gone for with this project. So the song I had with Dizzee, that sound is really in this project. I've really sort of taken that sound and kind of split it up and put it into a project. And the features that I've got on this project are just mad. Like not only the names, but it's more just everyone's gone in. Like everyone's done their job to a next level.
And when you send people songs, they have to kind of rise to the challenge, right? Because nobody wants to get washed on a song, and like when you're coming that hard, they got to live up to it a little bit, right? Yeah.
It's weird as well because I've had people I never would have expected saying that to me on the phone, and it's always humbling. That's the stuff what really cements in my mind that I'm on the right path, because it's all like, as much as I appreciate people that don't do it as a job telling me that they think it's sick, or even people that aren't involved in the industry or whatever telling me that it's sick, because that's always nice as well. But when you've got someone that's dedicated their whole life to it and you're a fan of them and they're saying to you like, oh, I had to keep up with you there, that was stress.
Right.
It's like validation. It's a validation you can't really get from anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's almost like if I was a chef and Gordon Ramsay was just like, yo, like I couldn't cook that, you know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm on the right path now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's important. It's important, and I think I like to put that pressure on people. And usually, of course, the people I'm working with, they're always sick people, so they can just live up to it anyway. But Meth said the same thing to me. We was all sat backstage, and he was just like, "Boy, when you sent me that verse, man, I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm gonna have to concentrate here."
Because he's probably done plenty of verses for people over the years that he heard it. Whatever. I'm gonna just do my thing. It's fine. It'll be better than theirs easily. And you hear something like that, it's like, well, shit. If I don't fucking really go hard, then I'm gonna be like I'm gonna look a little silly.
And that's how you get a good feature.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's how you get a good feature, because you send them something you know is sick and you know they're going to listen to it and feel like, okay. And then what I was really grateful for with that verse from him is that he really listened to the song and then did an appropriate verse. It wasn't a stock verse.
There you know what I mean? Yeah.
Because I was worried. I was like, I hope he doesn't send me a stock verse or something, like a verse that he's written to something else, and then he just puts it on here.
Because somebody like me, when I'm listening to a rapper feature or whatever, that's what I'm thinking about, is like, okay, how serious did he take this? I've heard verses where it was just so fucking obvious that, like, you know, where I was excited, oh my God, I'm gonna hear these two together, and then you hear it and you're like, he didn't even fucking know what he was doing when he did this shit.
Yeah, shouts to the guy at the label that made this happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I hate that, man. I hate that. I would almost not ever put something like that out if I always like to hear the verse before, and preferably I'll be in the studio with them. But if I can't get in the studio with them, then I often will just send like a little brief or something. I'll be like, cool, this is what I'm trying to do with the song. Like I've said to people before, I've been like, look, this song is more about the melody and about the song. So it's not this is my chance to spin ocean, because I'm not even trying to rap like technical on this at all. Like, so match the energy because it's a song. Then I've had other ones where it's like, okay, we're going in here, like, do your worst. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Certain times it doesn't call for the most technical bars. If you've got like a song where it's just not that type of thing, where it's just a melody and it's just, you're not talking about anything that deep, it's more about the swag of it or whatever however you want to say it. Sometimes it's not, you're not looking for that in a feature verse. You're not looking for someone to come and try and spin you. You're looking for someone to like match your energy and create an amazing song by the end of it.
Yeah.
So I've had that before. And then sometimes I'll just message them and I'll just be like, look, I'm just rapping, just doing my best here. So just do your best and we'll piece it together.
Yeah.
So then you leave it with them. And if they come back to you with something where you can tell they've respected the song and they like the song and they've listened to it. That's always good. To be honest, I haven't been unfortunate enough to have the opposite. I haven't had anyone send me anything and I thought, oh, this is whack.
Yeah, I feel like these days, like even like big rappers, they're kind of aware of that dynamic. So it's like they don't want you to think that if at all possible, unless they feel like disrespecting you. If they maybe like get the verse and they really don't give a shit about it.
Yeah, Rue's Maneuver sent me a very out the box verse.
Really?
But I liked it. But it was very out the box.
Yeah.
Like he is the very out the box. But when I first heard the verse, I was just like, whoa, that sounds like I was not expecting that at all. I didn't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting that. And I listened to it. I was like, right, this is just like very you as well. So it kind of works.
That's such a crazy feeling. I remember one time we paid for a fucking song, a verse on a song, and it's like they sent the weirdest fucking verse, and we're all just sitting around listening to it. Just everybody sort of like nervously looking at each other, just thinking like, do we like this? Like, is this okay? Like, we like this rapper, but what the fuck is this verse? It's not like at all what we were expecting to hear. It's a weird position to be in.
Yeah, that time it was a good one though. That time it was nice because it was like it was different, but sick. So we were like, okay, cool. This is dope. But yeah, man, that's awkward, man. If you get one where you're not feeling it and it's weird. I don't even know where you go from there. Like, would you go back and tell the artist you're not feeling it, or do you just never talk to them again?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. You got to do one or the other in it, because if you can't put it on your project, you got to either go back to them and be like, "Look, I'm not feeling that," or you
got to risk your whole relationship right there. Yeah.
Or you just burn the bridge.
Yeah.
But yeah, luckily I haven't been in that situation, and with this new project, everyone just went crazy with the verses. Yeah. I'm looking forward to everyone hearing this. It's
Definitely.
Just bars on this one. Not so many sing songs, just bars.
Hell yeah.
And bass and energy. Yeah, so it should be sick. What I'm trying to do this year, the next 12 months, is take the live show to a whole different place. Like recently I've just been thinking, do you know what? Like, people think they can try to outdo me. If it comes to the music, yeah, I know I'm good. Like, no one's outdoing me, because the way I spit my thing, I've rehearsed it so much, and it's very technical, and the breath control is all part of it. Like, I've got that on lock now. But I've done so many shows that I was just falling into a routine of doing the shows, and then I just suddenly thought, you know what, like, I'm gonna be performing like it's my first couple shows, like in that level of excitement to be performing, and just like energy, and just give like 110%. Because in the past I've been where I've been strengthening my vocal cords and just learning the process, I've had to be very careful about yelling, going too loud on stage. When you've got 6 shows in a row, you've got to be careful. Whereas now I've mastered that and I've got that on lock, so now it's like, well, let's go crazy now. Do you know what I mean? Let's make this show the most like intense fucking epic thing that these people have seen.
Honestly, that really makes me want to see you live, so you got me at least a little bit excited there.
Yeah, man, trust me, like, when my live show, like, I don't miss out lyrics on my live show, and when people listen to my songs, they always think, oh, I bet you can't do that live. But I can do it live. I don't put it in the song if I can't do it live. So people always come up to me after shows and they're like, oh, I'm not gonna lie, I thought you was kind of chatting shit. I didn't think you'd do it live. But my live show is I'm proud of it. It's rehearsed. So yeah, you gotta come, man. Any show you wanna come to, man.
I'm down. I gotta be spending more time out here anyway. You ever in LA?
I'm gonna get out there soon, but I've never been. Yeah, we're just sorting to get out there. It's actually just long getting out there, as in paperwork and stuff. Once we get that sorted.
You got a criminal history?
Do you know what the maddest thing is? Yeah, without going into it, like, it's not even. It's more about making sure that you don't get rejected for that sort of thing, and making sure that you just like tell them actually how it is. Because yeah, even the smallest things can trip you up. Do you know what I mean? So with me, it's like, it's not that deep, but you just have to be careful and just like go about it the right way.
I got you.
But yeah, no, it's nothing too bad. There's people with worse shit that have made it there, so it's it's just part of it. But I will say if you're coming up in the game, like, it's better to keep your nose clean, because if you want to go to America and do stuff and you get to times like this, it's more annoying if you haven't. I think a guy called Bugsy Malone, he was talking about it as well. P Money talks about it.
He's got a little bit of a record.
I don't know what his reasons are, but he's spoken about it
Right.
publicly about how you know, if you're young, you want to be careful with that sort of thing because it can really come back to bite you.
A lot of times it really surprises me when I see like an 18-year-old rapper that that I would assume has had legal situations, and then I see them actually, like, there's this kid Splurge, and I seen him, he went on tour with Lil Pump opening for him, and I seen him all over Europe and everything, and I was so happy for him, and I was especially happy because when I met him, he's just a crazy ass gangster kid with hella guns in his videos and shit, so I just assumed that he had to have had some kind of legal trouble at some point, and then I see him out in Ireland and shit, and I was just like, damn, you're a fucking kid from the hood, you're 16, you're in Ireland, that's amazing. Like, you know, that's the value of, I guess, not getting caught doing anything in his case.
Exactly. Shout out Sleazy. my boy Sleazy is always going on about that. No, yeah, he can go there fine. But yeah, definitely if you're a rapper and you're thinking about doing this and you're young, these things are so annoying. If you haven't got a full clean record, these things are so annoying. So I would definitely think about that. But if someone had told me that, I probably heard someone saying that and was just like, yeah, whatever. Like,
yeah,
I'm trying to, you know what I mean? You're trying to live the movie.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
When you're 18, you're trying to live the movie. No one's gonna tell you nothing. So
believe it or not, when you're 16, when you're 18, there's plenty. Like, there were plenty of people telling me not to drop out of school, not to do illegal activities, blah blah blah. There was so many people telling me that. I just wasn't listening.
Yeah, on the quest to be the baddest man on the planet.
That's what got everybody into rap to a certain extent.
Exactly. Just looking in the mirror one day like, I might actually be the baddest man on the planet, you know? Let me go and prove this. And then you wake up and you're like, there's a bit too many people for that.
Yeah.
Let me just do me. But then you try and do you and you got a record and it's a bit long to travel, so. But yeah, I'm alright though. I'm alright. We just we just gotta do it the right way, that's all. But what I wanna do is America tour. So we're gonna do Europe, and then I tour New Zealand and Australia. I've done that before, so we're gonna do that again, and then hopefully America. So yeah, do it all official, get the work visa, like, you know, go out there and make a thing of it.
Fine.
Probably first time I'll just be going out there just to showcase, you know what I mean? Because you got to build it. But I'm confident because I feel like with my style, like I said about the whole accent thing, when you're rapping as fast as I'm rapping, sometimes you don't really care about the accent. You can't even really hear it a lot of the time. It's more percussive.
There's a lot of truth to that, yeah.
Yeah, so that was the idea when I started it anyway. When I was 15, I thought to myself, how are people that aren't from where I'm from going to gravitate to my sound? Just the percussion of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's up, man. You're doing it. Anybody you want to thank? Anything we need to know before we wrap this up?
What we got? We've got tour coming up. The project announcements coming soon. We got the first single dropping very soon, couple weeks, something like that. We're gonna have a few singles, then we're gonna drop the project, then we're gonna tour the project. Who have I got to thank? I don't know, because to be honest, yeah, I feel like, you see the thank yous, they come at the end once you get the award, innit? When you're on stage and everything's finished and everyone smashed it. So I don't want to say thank you to anyone in case do you know what I mean? In case we still got work to do. Do you know what I'm saying? But, you know, obviously my manager and my fucking team and my DJ and my hype man and all these people, they're all helping make it happen. But yeah, I think once we actually get it out, there'll be a whole heap of people to thank. Yeah, but I definitely gotta thank Dizzee, because we've got a new one coming out. It's gonna be sick. And yeah, I've got to thank Jake as well. Jake's been working hard on the mixdown. So that's gonna be sick. Yeah, that's it for now. But yeah, I'm excited, man. It's gonna be sick. I'll make sure I send you an early link or something.
I need that.
Yeah.
Ocean, appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming through. It's an honor.
Love, man.